Hey, Motorman here, and today we're going to talk about the 5 biggest mistakes I see riders making out on the road. So we'll take a ride and talk all about it. All right, here we go. Number 1, I think, and this is so important, not looking far enough ahead. If you're looking 100 feet in front of your motorcycle or down at the ground in front of your front tire, you can't take in the big picture. Keep your head and eyes up, look far ahead. 12 seconds ahead is the general rule. Everybody's heard somebody say, well, the crash happened so fast I couldn't do anything. What they really mean is I wasn't looking far enough ahead. So it appeared that it happened quickly when actually things unfolded almost in slow motion if you're looking 12 seconds ahead. And here's another big one. I see this all the time, especially at my class. When you stop your motorcycle, make sure your handlebars are pointed straight ahead. If you stop with the handlebars turned, there's a good chance the bike is going to feel unsteady, could even tip over, especially if you got 2 people on the motorcycle. So always square up your bars when you come to a stop. Now, if you're on a little bike, you know, when I mean little, a bike that's 500 pounds or less, yeah, you could probably catch it and keep it from falling over. But if you're on a bike like this that weighs almost 900 pounds, just make sure the handlebars are pointed straight ahead. It's easy. And here's one I see all the time, and there's just no reason for it, and that's stopping 2 or 3 feet behind the car in front of you. Now, if you come into a light or a stop sign and you stop that close, and somebody comes up behind you, you hear the brakes squealing, there's no place for you to go. If that car with the brakes squealing doesn't stop soon enough, he's going to hit you, he's going to push you into the car in front of you. If instead you stop at least a half, 3/4 of a vehicle length behind that car, you want to make sure you can see the bottom of their rear tires on the car in front of you. That will give you enough room that if you hear somebody squealing the brakes behind you, or you look in your mirror and they're moving up really quick, you'll be able to turn the bars, find an escape path generally between the cars that are stopped at the light. That car may not make it and may hit that car that was in front of you, but you'll be safe. So, and it's such an easy thing. You know, I see no reason why people do this is stop inches from the bumper of the car in front. It's crazy. Don't do it. And it doesn't matter if you've been riding for years or for days. Experienced riders, beginner riders, they all do it. And it doesn't take any practice to fix that. I mean, just give a little bit more room to that car in front of you when you come into a stop. And here's another one I see this all the time. Riders who don't recognize a potential threat. A potential threat is a vehicle that could pull out in front of you from a side road and violate your right of way. I see so many riders, there's a car in the island, you know that car wants to pull out and get on the road that you're on, and they don't slow down, they don't cover the brakes, just cruising on down the road hoping for the best. Have the ability to recognize a potential threat, and that's anybody that might pull out in front of you. And that brings up another thing. When you're riding down a road and there's crossroads or any time where a car could pull out in front of you, cover both brakes. Put at least 2 fingers over that front brake, put your foot poised over the rear brake. Doing so will save you a lot of time if you have to stop quickly. At 40 miles an hour, you're covering 60 feet a second. Simply by keeping your 2 fingers over that front brake and your foot poised over the rear brake, you're saving about 1 second to 1.5 seconds. And that could mean as much as 60 feet. Last but not least, failing to master the clutch and throttle and having the ability to use the friction zone. Friction zone is the area between completely closed when you pull the clutch lever all the way to the grip and when you release it. It's that gray area in between. Everybody knows where it's at because whenever you take off from a stop, you're using the friction zone. You don't just pop the clutch out. You slip the clutch, add a little throttle, the bike starts moving. When it gets to a certain speed, you let the clutch all the way out. Everybody does that. I mean, riders should have that mastered in the first 2-3 days on the road. But I see so many riders, even guys riding for 30 or 40 years, who that's all they can do with the clutch and throttle, to start off smoothly without stalling the bike. They have no idea that if you stay in that friction zone at low speeds, instead of the bike feeling big and heavy and clumsy, it could actually feel like a child's toy. You could make it do anything you want it to do if you stay in the friction zone. Now, of course, there's a lot more mistakes that people make, but these are my top 5. If you like this or you have something to add to it, I know there's a lot to add to it. I mean, I could make a list of 50 mistakes, but the video would be too long. But just put it in the comment section below. Hey, don't forget to subscribe, click that notification bell, and give me a thumbs up. And I appreciate you watching. Thank you very much.